Good morning or good afternoon, whatever it is in your wee country. It's wee Paddy from across the shuck. How's my little pomfrets today? Now, I was tagged last night by the big Canucker in Canada. Great channel. Please go over and see him if you haven't. I know a lot of my subs are with him, but if you haven't, try his channel out. I'll put his channel down below in the description, and I'm gonna tag 6 other people for this tag just to get the love spreaded. This is a sort of side version of the tag that was put out by Pete over at Cedric and Ada. And this is 5 knives, not anymore, just 5 knives that make me smile when I use them or pick them up or whatever I do with them. And I'm just going to get straight into it because this has been one of the hardest. Trying to pick 5 knives out of a collection that you've built up over a lot of years is blooming difficult. So I've tried to mix it up a little bit and different reasons for why I picked these knives. Now, firstly, is this knife. Is the Hinderer XM18 Slippy Slicer 3-inch, and this is the non-locking version. It has the thumb stud that you can adjust on the top of your spine here. You can adjust this wherever you want to put it. I have it as far back as I can because I think when you put it down there, it affects the slicing. But this knife, why it's made the list is I bought this knife with money I got when my father passed away and money I got with house sales and whatever. I bought this knife in memory of my father, who was not a knife person. But it's my passion and my hobby. And I wanted something, when I took out of the box, that it would bring a smile to my face and remind me of the good times of my father, who passed away with Alzheimer's. So it wasn't a pretty ending. Anybody who's lost a parent to Alzheimer's will know what I mean. And losing a parent, full stop, is horrendous. So I bought this in memory of him, in honour of him. This will never go anywhere. This is going to be handed down to my son and hopefully on down the line. It's just a knife that when I bring it out, I smile and think about the good times I had with my father before his illness and even during his illness. The good times that we had together. We grew an awful lot closer during his Alzheimer's. So pretty self-explanatory. This knife means so much. And when I pick it out of my box, I genuinely smile because I have made the memory for him. And this knife just brings that back to me clear. Well, you know, if I'm feeling down about him, I actually bring this out now. I've had it a couple of years and it brings back, it invokes good memories. So a knife is a very powerful thing, a very powerful thing if you give it the ability for good power. So there you go. There's the first one. Now, the next one I'm going to bring out is probably everybody who watches my channel is this one. Now, I've been given an awful lot of lovely knives, you know, knives this quality and better by lots of my subs. But this one, the Benchmade 940 in the aluminium, in the pink backspacer, this was donated to me by Jeff Jewell, for which I will be eternally grateful. This was my grail knife when I first started because I never thought I would ever be able to spend this much money on a knife. And it's always been my grail knife, if you like. It was my first grail. It'll certainly not be my last now. I can say that. I would have said it would never have been, but it's a grail knife. This just means so much. It was my first high-end knife. It is just a stunning knife. I honestly believe this is still one of the best work knives in the world. It's just beautiful. So it goes on to my list at number 2. Now, they're not in particular order, but that one is always going to be the top. But this, the Benchmade 940, not only was it a really lovely gift, I made a video dancing in my living room when I got this, and the dancing was not put on. It was real. I was so excited, like a little boy. So when I think of that video that I produced, which was the biggest lot of nonsense, the worst dad dancing you've ever seen, but it was real. And that smile has never left my face. Now, the next one is a more recent, these next 3 are sort of more recent knives, but they put a smile on my face because they're knives that you never set out to really own when you start. Not going to call them grails, but they're just knives you never set out with this plan when you first start, or when I first started collecting knives. This next one is an Ashley Harrison custom. Ashley is a knife maker from Sheffield, England. Him and his father own Arthur Wright and Sons. And Ashley is a knife maker in his own right. And this was a custom knife he made for me. I told him what I wanted, left him carte blanche, and this is what he came back with, which was, it surpassed everything I thought he would be able to do. Not that he would be able to do it, but it just surpassed everything I thought. It's an easy open notch in it. It's got the shield I wanted on it. It's a Barlow. Barlow's come away. I'm not even going to go into that. It's a sheep's foot. I asked him I wanted a big fat sheep's foot, and a big fat sheep's foot I got with a beautiful swedge, nail nick. Just an all-round stunning knife. I asked it in blue bone. I got it in blue bone. I love this knife. Probably one of my favourite knives of all time. It's good, solid construction. It is made perfectly. It is a real great handful. This open nail, the open notch here for opening a knife, my third finger goes into it and locks me in completely. I just adore this knife. So Ashley Harrison, thank you very much. Your knife makes me smile without a shadow of a doubt. These are probably not in focus, but there's nothing much I can do. The next knife is what I would have called a grail knife that I wanted, which was a boy-size knife from the Northwoods collection. This is the saw cut bone. Let me see if I can get that so you can see the saw cut on this. It's not incredibly deep, the saw cut, I have to say. There you go. But it's a beautiful knife. I'm going to call it a Wharncliffe, but it's not really either a Wharncliffe or a sheep's. It doesn't start high enough up for a Wharncliffe, but look, it's Northwood's own blade. I think it's a Wharncliffe, so I'm going to call it that. It is a stunning piece of cutlery made by GEC for Northwood knives. I just adore this knife. It's a boy's knife size, slightly bigger, but a really good working edge on a blade. And it's a rarity. They're so hard to find. They're expensive when you do find them, but if you ever get the chance, if you're a traditional knife lover, this is something everybody wants when you become a traditional knife collector. Well, most everybody. Me anyway, I'll only speak for me. And it's a beautiful knife. And the last but not least of knives that make me smile was the one, before I even knew much about Northwoods, was the knife that I wanted from GEC, which were very expensive. I couldn't afford them in the beginning, but as time goes by, you make the money to afford knives. This is the TC Barlow, made by GEC, Tom's Choice, which was designed by, and his name has completely gone out of my head. Not that it matters, because everybody that knows him knows him. But anyhow, it's made by GEC. This is this number 14 pattern. It's the one I could get in the black ebony. I just think it is the prettiest little knife. This is a bit smaller than the boy's knife, but look at the swedge. This is when I fell in love with GEC's clip points. That is just beyond beautiful. And every time I lift this little knife, I don't use this very much. I have used it. It's not that knives do not sit in my collection and not be used, but this is not used very much. And if it is, it's definitely a secondary to bring out if I want to cut a bit of string in front of sheeple or things like that. It's a wedding knife. It's just so unthreatening in my view, and beautifully done. So there you go. I know that didn't take very long, but it's 5 knives in my collection that when I bring them out, they put a smile on my face. A smile on my face. I'm not going to pick a favourite, but as usable knives, as knives that are in my collection, none of these will go. Maybe this one if I get a model I'm more interested in, but that's about it. Other than that, that'll stay in my collection forever. That's the only reason. In fact, if I got the chance to buy another one, I'd buy it as well. But there we go. There's my 5 knives. Now, I'm going to tag 6 more people, and I'll put their names down below in the description. And these are all channels that I highly suggest you go over to. If you're not, I've got a lot of new subscribers. By the way, hello. I'll hopefully get round to all of you and say hello personally. But these are channels that I highly recommend to go over and just have a look at. Now, I've got a real mixture of channels here. So, I'm going to get started now. The first one I'm going to do is my old mate here in the UK up in Scotland. It is Slick Slicers. The next one is William's Knife Life. The next one, which is a real step out into the high custom knife collector. And that's Alex over at the Knifebox channel. Smashing channel. Alex is a really lovely man. An ex-Marine. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine, I believe. But he's a Marine in the American Navy. And then next one is Warthogg. If you don't know Warthogg, you got to get over to his channel. He is just an amazing man. He's been going through a really rough time, but he's still putting out content for us, which I'm truly grateful. And then there's Knife Chats with Tobias, the font of all knowledge for traditional knives, full stop. The font of all knowledge. And then another newish channel to me is RJ'sknives. And again, I'll put the names of all these channels. I'm making this on my phone. I don't know how to put the links to them, but just go to the channels. I'll put the correct spelling, I hope, down. Go to these channels, give them a look, and hopefully they will make videos of their 5 knives that make them smile. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed picking these, but my goodness, it's a hard task when you have as many knives as I've got. Take care, everybody. Paddy's gone. Bye-bye now. Take care.